Thank you for coming to tonight's podcast with the man himself, TSM rapper, and your girl Fanny. And we want to give a special shout out to our tonight's sponsors, Apex. And thank you for everybody who will be joining us tonight. Shout out to the replay gang and also the cloud watchers. And everybody entering, please hit that like button. You ready, TSM?
Hey, I was born ready, definitely born ready. But I want to say, if you watching in the background and you can hear my voice, go ahead and hit that thumbs up one time, as we got a great one, great topic. That background is pretty neat back there. You got me I need to get my stuff together. Get a little fireplace. I need to get some of that good feng shui you got back there.
You a mess. You a mess. Hey,
Hey,
real
real
mamas,
mama,
how you doing, Sissy
thank you
Pooh?
for coming.
Helen, how you doing, Sissy Pooh?
Helen, thank you.
Yeah, we got some great topics, some very serious topics that we want to share with you tonight. So, to SM, would you grace our presence with telling us your topic for tonight?
You know what? Strange enough, right? Y'all, these topics normally be planned a day ahead or something like that or the night before. These actually came up like through like some experiences that we've met today. And as far as my experience, like I said, I've said the story, but I'm gonna repeat it again. I choose in my area where I'm at now. Sometimes I choose not to drive because like I still haven't taken care of the little bench warrant thing, right? So I choose not to drive sometimes. Today was one of those days. I decided to go ahead and walk to the store and get what I need to get. And as I'm walking, I'm not at the house 3 minutes. I see a sheriff car driving like towards me, and I'm walking towards the sheriff car. I'm like, yo, somebody about to get evicted. Like that was my first thought. Like somebody about to get put out. And the car slowed down. He got out. He started walking towards me. I'm walking past him, and he stops me. And the first thing he do is tell me to turn around so he can search me while he's talking to me. Now, I know my rights. I don't have to let him do that, but I let him do it. And then I don't know how. I guess they really was more focused on the armed robbery that happened that was in progress because, like I said, I have a bench warrant. Even asked me for my name, gave this guy my name, and he called for like another dude to come, and another officer came, and as the other officer came, and he get out the car and say something to me, you could hear the chatter on the radio saying that they got the suspect, whatever street it was down there, and they just like left, like they didn't apologize, they didn't, you know what I'm saying, they didn't do any of this, and so I always want to advise everybody because my rights was definitely violated, which we all have equal rights. And I advise everybody to make sure that your camera is running at all times. It's not illegal. A lot of them gonna try to tell you that you can't record, but you definitely can record them. That's just the same as right as they have is recording you on body cam. So definitely have your camera on. And if you don't know your rights, I suggest some of y'all to look into some of y'all rights at some point. I mean, he didn't even really tell me like how I would even have fit the description. You know how they say, well, sir, they said a guy has dreads and we just stopped you because you just so happen to have dreads. It wasn't even that. Like, they didn't even say, well, you look like the guy, you got on something similar to the guy. It wasn't even, they didn't give me no reason, no excuse why they stopped me, just that armed robbery is taking place and they're looking for somebody. That's all they told me. Fanny, do you have any experience having your rights violated by the police or any experience that's close minorly to this type of issue at matter? And if so, how did you deal with it? Did you take legal precautions? And do you think some things are just too minor to even go and take a legal precaution about? And before you answer that, I want you to look at it from a police perspective. We got people before that went to jail because they literally blew a bubble and the bubble touched the police officer and the police officer arrested them for assault. Yeah, yeah. This young lady, I think it was like a Mardi Gras, I don't know what Mardi Gras, whatever it was. The police was trying to get all the teenagers to leave the party. And the young lady had some bubbles and she was blowing them. And the police officer was like, if one of those bubbles touch me, that's assault. And I'm taking you to jail for assault. She blew the bubble. It touched him, and she got taken to jail for assault. So if that wasn't minor, that's something minor. So when I ask you, do you think something small as what happened to me today? Do you think that's too minor to take legal precautions and go say, "Oh, I want this documented"? What's your thoughts on?
Absolutely not, because when you showed me the footage that you had and you called the police officer out, it was like he knew that he was busted. He knew he was caught. He knew he didn't have any legal ground to stand on to even harass you, because I call that harassment. And it's oddly enough, I have been seeing, and this is nothing new to me. So I'm gonna just put that out there. This is nothing new to me. I'm not blind to it. But I've been seeing just this week alone, another content creator has been posting stories about this black man in his car, and the situation went viral. And apparently it happened like 3 years ago, but he just now putting it out or whatever. And he was assaulted horribly, horribly assaulted. And when you contacted me, I was driving and I immediately was like, okay, I know TSM, he gonna always have his phone. He gonna always protect himself. He gonna make sure that he good. Because the one thing I know about you is that you're gonna make sure that if something happens, you're gonna have footage. You know what I'm saying? To prove that, I'm not just saying this, especially when it involves the police. I've had encounters with the police, but nothing ever on your level. And I could say that because um, I have lots of family in law enforcement, so I kind of know what the rules is on how to protect myself when I've been pulled over, questioned by the police, whatever case may be. So I'm kind of, versed in that a little bit. But it makes me nervous when I hear, people come out and like today, that it could have just went left. I'm gonna be honest. It could have went horribly bad. Just like Real Mama said in the chat, um, racial profiling. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there. These are my thoughts and my opinions. This is not the opinion of TSM or anyone in the chat. This is my opinion. And this is just for educational purposes only. This is not to attack anyone at all. But the footage that was shown to me, it could have went really, really bad. It could have went horribly bad. And thank God that you had that, because if you wouldn't have had that, any narrative could have been spent about you, and then people would have been like, "Oh, TSM, he one way on YouTube, but in real life he this." You know what I'm saying? Because people real quick to rush to judgment without having all the facts. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the footage don't always be what it appeared to be. But in your situation, when I saw it, I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, y'all really out here doing this to people, and you're really walking down the street. Like, come on, let's use our common sense.
Yeah,
Who's gonna rob a store and then walk? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's gonna rob a store and walk to their destination? Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just glad that it worked out in your favor, because like I said, it could have went horribly wrong. It could have went horribly wrong, but thank God that it didn't.
nah, for sure. But see, right, and let me put it in this perspective to you, right? So to give you a different feel of it, right? I believe I would hope to believe you was around when it happened the first time with the
I
Chase Bank
was.
situation.
I was.
How many times can a black man be accused of something like that before he's ultimately convicted, even though he's innocent? This two times. This is the second time it happened. It shouldn't even happen one time, but this is the second time it happened. Like it's at some point where I feel like it's probably 50, 50, 40% of people locked up right now that don't even need to be in there because they're completely innocent because of situations like this. With the second incident, you see it and you can see the guilt in the guy's face.
Yeah, I
The
saw
first
it.
incident, the first incident was supposed to got live recorded, but they take away my amendment by telling me I can't record the police. And so I say, okay, well I just talk about it live. They still got to me because they got my channel removed. And so it's like, yo, um, do you think like at some point because you got to remember that at first there was no body camera at all. Like police didn't have body cameras.
Uh,
Um,
yeah.
do you think at some point that law enforcement is going to be where it should be and where it needs to be, or do you look at it like just like the people in the world, like yo, society has lost itself. There's no way we're gonna be able to unite the whole world and everybody. Yeah, like how do you think that way in the circumstances of the police, viewing a police from a citizen's aspect? You feel like we ever
Well,
gonna get right?
my personal opinion about that, and I'm gonna be honest, until police officers see certain people of different hues as being human, this is always gonna be an issue. It's always gonna be an issue because let's be honest. I'm not saying that this does never happen to any other ethnicity. I'm not saying that, but the majority are, people of a darker hue. And the thing of it is, as long as they see us as being inferior and they being superior, it's going to continue to be an issue. But we have to protect ourselves and educate ourselves and guard ourselves. And that's not to say that it will never happen. But the best weapon you can use against ignorance is your intelligence. Educate yourself on what your laws is and what your rights are in your state. Never allow anybody to say, hey, we have a right to pull you over just because we think you're doing something, or you look like you're doing something, or because you have a certain appearance. Because let's be honest, people want to sit up there and say, I'll, you know, us brown folk look alike. No, we don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, no, we don't. And it's like just because you have tattoos or dreads or piercings or whatever case may be, that's not give you the legal right to stand on and say, okay, he looks like she's up to something, or she looked like she's up to something, or because you drive in a certain vehicle or you walked or drove in a certain neighborhood, that don't give them a right to harass you. It just doesn't. But you have to educate yourself. You have to educate yourself. Don't fall victim to police brutality. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, you might just have that officer who just he pissed off because you're more educated about the law than he is, and he might take his aggressions off on you. But you still have to educate yourself and protect yourself. And unfortunately, we live in an age to where, like my 17-year-old, he's about to start driving. I'm not gonna lie, it scares me. It scares me because when he's gonna be driving alone, you know what I'm saying? I don't never want to get that phone call from him that, he's been harmed or hurt. But I do have to have that talk with him about protecting himself. And it fortunately in our family, like I said, we come from a family that, we have law enforcement from different, you know, but I'm not gonna get into all of that because it ain't none of your business. But the thing of it is just to always protect yourself, educate yourself. And TSM, you said something and you did something earlier today. Not only did you have the footage, you called him out You addressed the issue. You didn't just be like, oh, he just stopped me. You addressed the issue and you called him out. And that's the one thing that I love, that you held him accountable for what he did to you. You know what I'm saying? And he couldn't say anything. He couldn't say nothing. What could you say once you hold somebody accountable and you got it on camera? You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so you did the right thing by doing that, because if you didn't have that, like I said, it could have went horribly wrong. It could have
You
went
know,
horribly.
I think it went left with improper training too. A lot of them, I believe they have the abilities to take shortcuts because most law enforcement have people in law enforcement, and so they don't have to go through all the protocols and proper training you think they may have to go through. Listen, sometimes the law is bigger criminals than civilians are. Trust me. So they got a lot of crooked stuff going on too within that. And what leads me to say that is just the improper training. I was watching a video the other day for awareness where this couple was arguing and the police came to the house. It was a black couple. And to separate them two to get the story together, they put the black guy in the back of the squad car. Okay, so the officer is walking back from the car to go back to the female, and as he's walking back from the car, acorn. Now, mind you, they patted this man down. It's a true story. I'm gonna show you after we through. They patted the guy down and put him in the back of the car, and he's walking from the car, and he parked under a tree. So an acorn fell on top of the roof of the car, and a police officer dived down on the ground and shot the car like 78 times. Then called more police officers, and they all shot the car up because they thought the guy in the back shot a gun at the police officer from the back of the squad car, which he just put him in there and patted him down. That car over 100 times because they thought that that man was shooting at them, which he just patted him down before he put him in the car. So how do you get a gun in there? And so it's another situation where the female police officer pulled over this young lady, and while they searching her car, they put her inside their squad car. But her squad car was parked on the train tracks, right on the middle. As soon as they go search the car, the train came and smashed that car. Thank God the lady didn't lose her life, and she won a big lawsuit. But just these two separate situations is one cause: improper training. What do you think about the training of law enforcement? Is they trained enough? Like, do you think they have enough training as they should be? Do you have you been in a state where there are good training law enforcement that you've seen that held it down pretty good versus the states that you've been to when you just like, yo, they need to get it together?
I feel like, you asking people, they go through basic training. You know what I'm saying? They go through basic training. I feel like all police officers, if you're going to enforce the law, you should know what the law is. Some officers create laws in their head that don't even exist in all 50 states. Let's keep it a book. I mean, like the situation I was previously talking about. They literally pulled over a man. Now keep in mind, this is during the day. During the day, it was not raining outside. They snatched him out of his vehicle, busted out his window of his vehicle, punched him in his face because they told him he was driving without his headlights on. And he's like, "Why I gotta have on my headlights? Nobody else has on their headlights. It's not raining, plus it's daylight." And they told him because he had to. And he was like, "Well, can you show me what law that is?" And he was like, "I will once you get out the vehicle." And he was like, he asked for a supervisor. And when he asked for a supervisor, that's when all hell broke loose. And it was just like, you can't, a lot of these officers don't even know what the laws are in their own state. They don't know, but they were hired to enforce it. So how can you enforce something that you don't know? That's my take on it. Police officers need to be educated on what their laws are in their state in order to enforce it. So, I mean, what the hell I say? Or the Constitution. Exactly, Helen. Real Mama says they're supposed to go to the academy for training. Yeah, they go to the academy for training, but they don't have education on the legalities. They don't have that. They don't have that. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that should be added as well. How can you enforce a law when you don't even know what it is? So that's what my take is on it. What are your thoughts about what I said, TSM?
Totally accurate. And one thing that you said that I agree with, and I'm gonna just sum it down some. They they go to the academy, but a lot in their career, a lot of them get like what we would call when you're in school and you don't pass the grade, but you get lifted to the next grade. That's what I think is happening within the police space, and it's just causing like a total undivision between the police and the citizens. It's hard for us to, we're supposed to be protected by the police, and we are have to raise our children and teaching them how to protect themselves against the police, the same ones that's supposed to protect us. Um, and so another thing that's interesting to me that intrigues me is I had a lot of people that I've known in the past, and I just didn't understand for the sake of me why these guys didn't like the police. Why is it always something bad to say about the police? And literally my three encounters with the police was something that I literally, was not supposed to. When they did take me to jail, it was for feeding the homeless. Then I get accused of robbing Chase Bank, and here I am getting stopped for quote unquote this aggravated armed robbery. So it's like, okay, when you are a law-abiding citizen and these types of things is happening to you, that can turn you against the police in an instant, especially if you're not self-aware like me. I'm somebody that, okay, I understand there's something going through. Maybe they got to get the job did, and every time they can't do it the correct way, the proper way, they just want to catch that person that's a dangerment to the rest of the society. I could think like that. Or I could just say, you know what, F the police from now on. But I'm somebody who understands. But then you got so many people who wasn't raised and who don't know how to properly conduct themselves to think that way, and so that they have the notion of f the police. And so I can kind of now understand why those guys will feel that way. What is your take on that?
I mean, I agree, especially it's just like in life. If you had a poor experience in a relationship, that's what you set your foundation on. If you've had poor interactions with police officers for whatever reason, you're going to have a distorted view of every police officer that you encounter. But I will say this: there are some very good police officers out there. Not all are bad. Not all are on a mission to abuse or anything like that. There are some very good police officers out there. Unfortunately, the bad cops are overshadowing the good ones because let's be honest, how many times do you see on social media or the news that you hear an officer doing something good? True story. This is a true story. 2 weeks ago, early in the morning, I was taking my daughter to work. It was two black guys in an old pickup truck that broke down on the street. It's a two lane, um, one going east, one going westbound. And a police officer pulled over, stopped traffic by himself, and helped these two black gentlemen push their vehicle to the side so traffic can proceed on both sides. And honestly, I've never seen that before. I've never seen a police officer go out of their way to help everyday citizens. And when I tell you, I was just like, wow, that's a cop's cop. You know what I'm saying? And we never hear stories about like we never hear the news talk about that. You don't very rarely see that happen on social media. So I just want to put it out there that there are really some good officers out there, but unfortunately, once again, it's being overshadowed by all the bad cops that you might have encountered, you've seen on social media or the news itself. So yeah, that's my take on it. What do you think? Have you
I
ever
do,
seen? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do have a good cop story. So the time they held me in jail for the homeless situation, feeding the homeless or whatever. Now I don't know if a lot of y'all been in there. Y'all probably been there a couple. I don't know if y'all been there long enough to see how everything works. But when you're inside your cell, you're not getting. You cannot just like they have a button in there you can press for emergencies, etc. But 9 times out of 10, they're not gonna respond to that button. You have to really wait until it's time to eat your lunch, or till it's medicine time, or till it's breakfast time for you to see a police officer. You could be in there getting beat up. You're not gonna see nobody like that. And so I was in there and I'm constantly because once I got locked up, nobody knew where I was. So I'm constantly trying to reach my kids' grandmom to let them know, yo, I'm locked up. I could not get nobody's attention. And there was this one officer named Officer CA. He was the one that brings the medicine at 1 o'clock in the morning. In case y'all don't know, that's the time y'all take meds at 1 o'clock in the morning in every jail. And so he offered me my medicine. I told him I refused to take it. And the first day he left. Then the second day I refused to take it. He said, I'm concerned about you. Come have a talk. Come have a talk with me. He sat me down in a private room, said, bro, you got to take your medicine. The jail's not responsible if something happens to you, etc. And you don't want yourself getting sick. And I told him, I said, I am not going to take any medicine until I can talk to my kids. This man snuck me like against his job's protocol, snuck me to the back and pulled out his own cell phone. And I had to go through like 10 different phone calls. He sat there and made sure that I was able to speak to my kids. And even after I got out of jail, he called me to check on me. And his name was Officer CA, and he was a black guy. And I done tried to get so many people in there to let me use the phone to call my family because once you was in there, you have to those phones they have in a dorm with you, you have to pay, or the person is answering, they have to pay. And ain't nobody about to pay to talk to my black self. So I had to get a cell phone inside there. But that brings me to though. It pays to be good to some of these police officers because you never know when you may need one outside of just that 911 call. Here I am in jail. There's no way I'm supposed to even touch a cell phone. That man could have lost his job. But he ended up let me be able to make that phone call. I spoke to my kids. After that, I was straight, taking my medicine, stayed in there, so I had to get in there. Shout out to everybody that's just not tapping in. Much respect. That was our first topic, y'all, and we do have a second topic. I'm gonna let Fanny drop that topic for y'all in the notions of that topic.
Before we get to the second topic, I want to say shout out for tonight's sponsor, Apex. I cannot talk. I apologize. Shout out to Apex. They have some great electronics, and TSM can tell you more about that. We know that he has Apex headphones. So, shout out to Apex once again for sponsoring tonight's podcast. My topic, um, I'm not going to say the young lady's name. TSM went live earlier today, and I noticed that a young lady um, said something in the chat about her appearance. Now, as us ladies, we all go through days where we don't look our best, feel our best. And she put in a chat, and it was just like, no, queen, no. You can't, that's not going to be permitted. You can't say that about yourself. What she said about herself was that she was ugly. And it's like, no, we're not about to let you, you know, we're not gonna let that slide. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, as ladies, we go through days where we don't feel our best, we don't look our best. And and the one thing I want ladies to know is that, you know, try to figure out why you feel that way. um Doing my own research and my own personal experience, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but a lot of that comes from childhood trauma, what you've been exposed to, the people you've had in your life, whether it be your career, whether it be your family, whether it be your situation or your circumstance. What have you been exposed to? I tell my girls all the time, from the moment they open their eyes to the moment they hit the floor, you know, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are smart. Because if I don't plant that in them, the world will determine. how they look. And I will, excuse me, TSM, I will be damned if I allow the world to describe my babies. They know, they will tell you because I test them. I test them. Somebody walk up to you and say, "Oh, you ugly." You know what my girls tell them? "I know you lying. You can't be talking to me." You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much about an internal look. It's about what's you on the inside. You know what I'm saying? Cause some people we gonna keep it a buck over here. Can I be honest with you, TSM over here? Can I say what I want to say? It's some people on social media, whether it be Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever. Their insides is just as ugly as their outside. And then it's like they be the most confident people in the world. And it's just like, why? Like, why? Like, if somebody like that can have that much confidence, you can too. You can too. I mean, it's always somebody who might feel like you may not be the best looking or you may not. The world beats you up enough. Don't beat yourself up too. Don't do that. Don't. You are beautiful just the way you are. You may not have the best clothes. You may not be have the, whatever the case may be, but never get on this platform and say I'm ugly because you're not. You're not. The world have beaten you up enough. Don't beat yourself up. So if you're watching this video right now, you're a cloud watcher or part of the replay game, when you see this video, young lady, I want you to look in that mirror and you tell yourself, you are the best thing walking. You are, you look gorgeous. You are beautiful. Regardless if no one else ever tells you that, I'm telling you that. You look in that mirror every day. You make it
Hold
a
on, let me
point to
let me
tell
let me cut
yourself.
you let me cut you off real quick because that's why a lot of people ain't gonna agree with me. That's why I disagree with the Nicki Minaj's, the Cardi B's, the Sexy Reds, because it's like at some point these, if not kids, even these teenagers, some adults, they feel like they have to look like this. They feel like they have to keep up with what they got going on in order for them to be pretty. And it's I blame half of the fellas because they're paying that much extra attention. The biggest influential today is music artists and music streamers. And most of the females right now, I can't really call out two or three just off back that I can say, okay, I approve of my daughter watching this person because that's who's gonna inspire my daughter. When our daughters are watching the Sexy Reds and the Nicki Minaj's, they are influencing them in a bad way because they're letting our daughters know that this is what you have to look like. This is what your butt has to look like. Like they really, and the kids is taking that. They really taking it and using it towards their, and it's like, man, so they feel like if they not built like this person, if they not shaped like this person, listen, if there's any young ladies watching this, when y'all watch them Nicki Minaj's and them Cardi B's and them, y'all looking at straight cosmetics. It's very rare, 8 out of 10, um, where you see these women without makeup, the BBLs and etc. And for the most part, it's dudes like me that's just like a straight turn off to me. Like, don't come up to me with a BBL or whatever. And then don't come up to me with what the next rap chick got. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to find something different. As a matter of fact, it's ugly to me. If we being honest, that's real ugly to me when a woman chooses to alter her body based off what she thinks somebody else gonna think. Now, if you're doing it for yourself, then by means do it. But you best to believe that you are unique, whoever you are. If this means anything to anybody, you are unique. There's nobody on earth to look like. People could talk about me all day, big forehead, shiny forehead, whatever they want to say about me. But I know one thing: there is nobody on earth that looks like TSM, and I embrace that. I had to learn to embrace that recently. And so, ladies, be very, very confident with yourself because there's somebody right now that's looking at you that you don't even know. I'm telling you, personality is everything. And so, put your looks last and put your personality first. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sonny.
That's why I started off by saying, as little girls and little boys, you have to plant those seeds in them. Because if you don't, the world will determine it. That's why you have people out here, like you said, you have the women competing with other women that they don't even know. They get the BBLs and things of that nature. And then they later on regret it. They regret it. Just think about it like this, TSM. Look at all the women who are here getting BBLs, right? Imagine how what them BBLs gonna look like when they hit 40, 50, and 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? You walking around and you got tattoos from your thighs all the way down, and you got a BBL, and you in your 50s and your 60s,
I
70s,
believe we just I
80s.
believe we just recently watched something something that was real crazy.
It's
And
crazy. It's crazy.
yeah,
And that's why I say I tell my little girls, like, they are beautiful because I'm planting them seeds in them. I want them to be defined by who God created them to be and not the world. They don't have to go out in the world and look to be validated by anybody. They don't. That's why I said I give them tests. I will walk up to them and be like, "Oh, you ugly. I don't like your outfit you got on today." You know what I know you lying. You ain't talking to me. I look good. I'm beautiful. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do because I want them to know and understand no matter what, they're going to always interact with somebody who got something to say. You know what I'm saying? And the truth of the matter is, if you don't instill that in your children, the world will. They will. They will. And it's just like so much is going on in the world. We can't sit up there and let the world babysit our children. We can't. We can't because they will grow up and be teenagers one day, young men, young women, and older adults. So when they walk around and they have never been taught that they are beautiful, they've never been taught that they're smart, and they go out here and they see a girl with a big behind or big boobs, not realizing that's all fake, that's a facade, guess what they're gonna do? Oh, I want that too. They do it to keep a man, get a man. And it's like, if he ain't trying to stay with you in your natural state, guess what? It's about a million other girls who got them BBLs too. So you basically did this to yourself, and now you're competing with millions and millions of other women who you thought were deemed as being beautiful. But the fact of the matter is, they're not. They feel in the same way you felt. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you have to teach your children. And that's the key word. You have to teach them. You have to instill in them how beautiful they are. And when I say beauty, it don't always mean your outward appearance. I'm talking about your inside and your out. You got people on social media who don't look their best, but they are the most confident people in this world. You can't tell them they ain't gorgeous. You can't tell them that. You can't tell them that. And it's like, never beat yourself up because the world does that enough. Don't be a party to your own self-abuse. You don't always have to look your best, feel your best. And I know some people might feel like, I don't have money to do this and do that. Guess what? That shouldn't even be an issue. That shouldn't be an issue. It doesn't. What does it cost for you to love yourself? Are you willing to pay the price to condemn yourself the way the world has? If you can go out there, if you got $1 in your pocket, go to the dollar store and get you something to make you feel good about yourself. Whether it's something that smell good, whether it be some makeup. You may not be into makeup. I used to wear makeup. I have not worn makeup in like 2 years. 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Some people, some women feel like they can't leave the house without it. I'm not one of them people. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm happy, being me. Because I do what I need to do to keep my face together, whatever case may be. But It's not about, I do it for me. I don't do it for anybody else. I do it for me. Because at the end of the day, when I look in that mirror, I'm like, girl, you look good today. I don't care if my hair all over my head, whatever case may be. But yeah, so young lady, I just want you to know that, I love you. I don't know you personally, but I think you are very, very beautiful. I really do. I think you're very, very beautiful. And I think you're very, very brave for saying that. Not that you was looking for attention or sympathy, but you have a story behind why you feel the way that you feel. And for that, I respect your bravery.
What tips? What does women do to make themselves? Because I know we can do things to make ourselves feel beautiful and confident too sometimes. And I call that exercise of the mind. But I'm a fella, so I do different things from what a woman may do. What would you recommend for this young lady to do to make herself, even if it's some beginning tips, some beginner tips? Y'all ladies in the chat,
Well,
drop some advice too.
well, I will first off by saying if you believe in a higher power, um, pray to him for strength and guidance and wisdom. And to know that you were created in his image and he didn't make any mistakes. He did not make any mistakes. I would start there. Then I would, whatever you like to do, go on a walk, meditate, surround yourself with like minded people. And that's the key. Surround yourself around like minded people. Do not surround yourself around fake people because they'll love you today, hate you tomorrow, talk about you like a dog, and smile in your face. Hang yourself around people that's going to build you up, encourage you, motivate you, inspire you, and look for people who will hold you accountable. Who won't allow you to be like, oh, I'm ugly and that. They be like, girl, yeah, you right. No. Hang around like minded people. Pamper yourself. And I know, those things can be expensive. Pamper yourself. Pamper yourself. Like going on walks. Walking is free. You can go for a walk. That's free. If you into exercising, exercise. Listen to music. You know what I'm saying? Do something that you love to do. You know what I mean? And just really treat yourself. Treat yourself. And just start there by starting off to something small. What do you think, TSM?
I mean, my bad, y'all. I mean, I totally agree. Um, I definitely agree. I do things like, definitely to build my confidence and, different things work, different methods work, but I definitely recommend trying something, taking some of this advice, that these ladies may have for you. Funny, I was going to ask you if we could catch up on the chat.
Yeah, for some reason it's not moving. It's like it's frozen. I'm not seeing anybody saying too much in the chat. Um, I'm not seeing anybody saying too much on my end in the chat.
Okay,
So
yeah,
if you
you
ladies
got
have
frozen.
anything, I'm sorry, go
You
ahead,
must got
TSM.
frozen. You must got frozen. Real mama said, look in the mirror and praise yourself for the things you find about beautiful about yourself, not just physical but mentally, spiritual. Helen is still in the building. Everybody's still here.
I agree with that, Sissy. I really do. I really do agree with that. Only because, as women, we
What
can be
yo?
our own. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What could cause a young woman or a young lady to feel such way?
Like I said, it could be how she was raised and people in her home. I know of a situation right now where a young lady is going through something and she don't have a support system. She don't. I'm gonna be honest, she don't. And it's heartbreaking because it's like when you don't have people in your own family to support you, where do you go? You know what I mean? Like, where do you go? And a lot of time people go to social media, which is a very bad idea. It's a very, very bad idea. And because you've seen, just like you said, you see people who you deem as having a perfect body, the perfect face, and it's not real. It's an illusion. You know what I'm saying? So it starts from within the home. Like the people who you first interact with, whether it be if you live with your parents, a sibling, your grandparents, cousins, auntie, whoever it starts within the home. And I think if you're not being taught and told that you're beautiful, that you're smart, what you think gonna happen when you hear that every day?
Real mama
When you
say constantly being surrounded by negativity, having some, uh, having people project their own insecurities onto you.
it is. She's right. She's right. And because if that's something that you have not been taught, how can you can't acknowledge, you can't fix what you don't even acknowledge. You can't. If TSM rapper woke up every day and he's not telling his children, you're smart, you're intelligent, you're beautiful, you're strong, you're handsome, where do you think they're gonna get it from if they never hear that at home? It's their first interaction. It starts with their home. You can't expect for people out in the world to see you through the eyes that you see yourself, because they're not. They're not. There'll be people that have in secret competitions with you that you don't even think about. And it's sad because it's like, we all have something to offer this world. We all do. We all different. I can go out here and get face tattoos, but am I gonna be TSM? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm being honest. I can go out here and dye my hair red, but am I gonna be really TSM?
Hey Yolanda,
You know
thank
what I
you for
mean?
coming.
I mean, seriously. And vice versa. I can go out here and get beautiful brown eyes like real mamas, but am I really gonna be real mamas? I can go out here and be like, hey, Helen is the head rap queen, but am I really gonna be Helen? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, be uniquely yourself. Why keep copying people? Don't do that. Be uniquely yourself. Embrace your flaws. We all have them. We all have them. Embrace your flaws. I remember somebody recently just told me that. We ain't gonna say who, TSM. But it's just like, when you hear somebody say that to you, for me, it was just like a reality check. Because we was just having this conversation. And I was just like, and real mamas could tell you, she in here, she will tell you, I'm not lying. I would not come from behind the camera. I'm like, no, mm-mm. I was cool staying behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? And then here come along TSM with this camera situation, calling me out, challenging me, talking about, I dare you to come out from behind that camera. I'm like, you dare me? Me? I'm like, you know what? I don't like to be challenged. I don't really like to be challenged. He trying to play with my gangster. He trying to challenge me. Bet. You know what I'm saying? It granted it only was 3 seconds, but that was 3 seconds that I was just like, But real mamas could tell you, I would. It's like no. We all have insecurities. You know what I'm saying? But you have to embrace them wherever they are. You have to embrace them because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Beyonce got insecurities. I'm pretty sure Halle Berry got insecurities. And as a woman, you might be looking at them, but they're so beautiful. But guess what? They have them. They have them. You know what I'm saying? So don't be so hung up on how somebody else is looking, how somebody else is looking versus hold on for a second.
Yeah, she's definitely speaking some facts. So hopefully somebody can take from this. Hopefully somebody can learn from this. I really appreciate everybody for being here. I'm definitely learning more myself. That's why it's great to have this duo up here because I get to learn more about from a lady's perspective or presentation, and she get to learn more vice versa about you guys. Back to Fanny. What they say on the newscast, Fanny, back to you.
You a man, come on. You caught me off guard with that one. I'm like, what? You caught me off guard with that one. Sorry about the interruption, guys. But yeah, Tissim, what's your take on, do men or men have insecurities about their outward appearance? And if so, what are they?
Definitely, definitely. Because like me myself, right? Hey, of course I'm 6 foot, right? But the thing is, with me, I rather not be so tall, and I rather be a little bit more like. I don't like how small I am. That's why I work out so much. That's why I made myself as shredded as I can be. I don't like my small frame. I feel like somebody that's 32 years old should be a little bit more, you know what I'm saying, solid than what I am. And so I'm definitely insecure about, I won't even say my overall size, like far as my weight capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm very confident with my body. We all know I'm shredded. But like
No
the size,
comment.
yeah, the size, I just like I'm just like not liking it because I'm standing next to my son who's I believe 14, 13, and it's like, like this guy is the same body build as mine, and it's like this is not right. I feel like this is not right. Why is these high school kids the same size as me? And it's like I see these kids get off the bus, some of them be bigger, and it's like, man, come on. But yeah, that's definitely one of my insecurities. But as far as everything else, I learned to definitely be. I was insecure about my forehead, but like somebody told me one day, that was like, yo, why you keep wearing
What's
that
wrong
thing
with
there?
your
I'm like,
forehead?
I just don't like it. I don't like the size. I don't like the shape. I don't like nothing about it. I don't.
Your forehead?
Yes,
Really?
yes. Have you seen it from the side? Look at this.
It's a
It's
forehead.
like a little. It's like a turtle head or something. I don't like it.
You tripping. It's a forehead.
I don't like it.
Listen, I've seen some pictures where people forehead just be like, it's like,
It's
bro,
just. It's too much
what?
space going on up here. It's just too much
You,
space going on
you
up here.
need to stop. Ain't nothing wrong with your forehead.
It is. I asked
Nothing
my
wrong
daughter.
with your forehead.
I asked Mariah. I say, yo, Mariah, put me a tattoo up there. She said, what you want? A whole comic book? She said, I could put the whole page on the bottom of the top of your forehead.
You know. But to be honest, that's because that's your sense of humor. She didn't mean it. You know she did not mean
Man,
it.
but I just don't like it. I really don't.
I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with your forehead. I
I
don't.
do. I do. I do.
I mean, what you gonna do about it?
Ain't nothing I can do about it.
Exactly.
I can
That's my
embrace
whole
it.
point.
I'm gonna embrace it.
Exactly.
Somebody said it was cute, but I can fit my whole hand up here. That's just like not right. That's not right.
You silly. Like you ain't nothing wrong with your forehead. Ain't nothing
Yo,
wrong with your
listen, we
forehead.
appreciate y'all for your time. I'm gonna let Fanny close us out. Fanny, you wanna go ahead and close us out? Matter of fact, give some great inspiration. I'm gonna do that because you're gonna close us out in prayer. I want to let everybody know, whether you're a guy, whether you're a female, listen, embrace you for who you are. I don't care if you overweight, underweight, short, tall, if you look like Scrappy Doo. I don't care. Embrace that because it's handful of people that you don't even know that's watching you, that's looking at you. I've been watching somebody just complaining about themselves for so long, and I'm just looking like, you just don't, girl, you got something behind that camera. Like, I don't care if your butt flat. Like, so just embrace, no, I'm just embrace what you got because some
I'm
people feel
sorry.
like
You
they
need to
flaws.
quit with the jokes. I'm
I'm just
sorry.
saying it may be a flaw to you, but that flaw is a you know how they say one man's trash is another man's treasure. Your flaw that's a
Hmm.
flaw to you. Somebody always looking at that flaw like that's the bingo for me. And so
Understand.
yeah, embrace y'all. I'm gonna let Finny give y'all some great words of inspiration. Then she's gonna close us out in prayer, man. In case anybody out there that needs some prayer, we're gonna give it to y'all through this platform.
Before I do that, I want to shout out tonight's sponsor once again, Apex. For anybody have any electronic needs, go check out Apex. Um, that's right. Show them headphones. Show the people TSM what they can get over there at Apex. Boom, there you go. But I want to close out
Close it up.
tonight by just saying, I want to thank TSM for allowing me to come on this platform to talk about two very serious topics. I want to say thank you for everybody who joined us tonight. We know we appreciate your time and your energy. We thank you for engagement. And I just want to close it out by giving God his glory and saying thank you so much for being in this live, joining us as well. And if you all can join me in prayer, I would really appreciate it. Father God, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you for the young lady who gave me inspiration to speak on this topic about insecurities. Thank you for watching over and protecting TSM as he encountered his situation today, because you definitely was on the scene with that situation as well. And I just pray for all those officers, past and present, who encountered people who they describe as being a threat. I thank you for protecting them because there are some good officers out there as well. Father God, I thank you for blessing everyone in this chat. We thank you for blessing everybody in the clouds, the replay gang. And we just thank you once again for your presence, Lord. And it's none of us, but all of you. And it's in Jesus' name we give you thanks. Amen.
Y'all be sure to go to my spread shop, check out the merchandise. Also, go to tsmentertainment.com. Get you some yo polish. I don't know why I came on here with clear fingers. Next time y'all gonna see me with that great black polish, man. I must try the matte next and let y'all see what that's like. Funny. I really thank you so much, man, and I'll see you behind the scenes.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Thank y'all, ladies, for the hour down below. I really appreciate y'all. Without y'all, this wouldn't happen. So thank y'all.